The Bamboo Project podcast starts in 3, 2.
Welcome to the Bamboo Project podcast. My name is Donivan Gray, the future $10 billion man. On the way to 10 billion, I decided I'm going to help create 1,000 millionaires, including myself. And not by being a guru or selling a course, but by doing the things I already love to do every day and documenting the journey to get there. I figure I'll make all the mistakes so you don't have to. My name is Donivan Gray, and this is how I will turn my life into a living. I'd like to start off by giving a shout out to all the people rocking with us and supporting the channel. We really appreciate you. We are currently streaming on all major streaming platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor. You name it, we on it. And if we not on it, we about to be on it. For everyone listening to this podcast and not watching it, you can find us on YouTube at The Bamboo Project. We have over 400 videos on our channel. Do you want to learn real estate? We got that. Do you want cooking tutorials inspired by Dr.Sebi? We got that. Do you want travel and lifestyle vlogs? Got it. Makeup and hair growth tutorials? Got it. Basketball? Got it. Turo? Got it. Candles? Got it. It's everything us. All the parts of the journey that don't make it to YouTube will probably be on our story. You can find me on Instagram at Donivan Gray, DONIVANGRAY, and my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend, Anita Byrne, ANETABURN. The Bamboo Project is about turning your life into a living by making money off the things you already do every day. We made different playlists for all the things we're into, and you can find all of those links in the description box below. This may be your first time here, and if it is, welcome to the family. But for everyone else, this is chapter 3, page 130. All right. This podcast has 4 different segments. We have the life update, episode playback, Donovan's questions, and the topic of the day. All video and audio timestamps will be in the description box below. Today's date is September 13th, and it is 4:42 p.m. It's a Tuesday because Tuesdays are for podcasts. Before we get into last week's update, everybody's favorite time of the podcast. Yay. All right. This is when I will check my screen usage of the last week, and I can see what I could probably improve on, or kind of what's going down, what's going up, kind of just monitor myself, because I always say, all right, you ready for this? If I don't take advantage of my phone, then my phone is taking advantage of me. All right. Say it with me for everybody in the back. So let's see how my last week was. Last week I was on, it's 4:44. Last week I was on my phone for an average of 7 hours and 47 minutes per day. It's up from the week before, which was 7 hours and 19 minutes. Not up too much, up a little bit. The day I used my phone the most was Wednesday for 9 hours and 43 minutes. That's probably when we went to Jersey. Oh, you used my phone for that when you did the stream?
No, it was my phone.
Okay. Well, the quality looked like that because it wasn't my phone. If you had the iPhone, then you would have had the crystal clear HD. You feel me?
Oh, now you're talking crazy.
All right.
They just came out with a new one, so your phone about to
listen. I'm getting in. Actually, I can't. I got AT&T. I gotta wait till next year to get the next one. But anyways, I used YouTube for 16 hours and 51 minutes. That's That was good. That was a good one. That made me chuckle for sure. I felt that one. That was good. I was so confused. What happened? I'm like, damn, she got me 100%. Listen, I clapped. That was a good one. I have nothing. I was totally lost, guys. All right, so now Melissa is finished embarrassing me. Let me see. We got YouTube for 16 hours and 51 minutes. So that's about.
And 51 minutes.
What happened? That's a lot.
You only said 16 hours the first. That's 17 hours.
That's not a lot for the week.
That's more than 2 hours a day.
So it's not a lot. That's like 2 podcasts.
I'm just saying that you said 16 hours and I said damn. And then you said 16 hours and 51 minutes. I'm like, oh, that's 17.
It's not even that much.
17 hours.
The week before was 21 hours.
Damn, that's crazy.
That's what I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, that's low. Like, what are you talking about? Listen, anyways, all right, Kevin Hart, let me know you finished being funny. Instagram was for 11 hours and 56 minutes. Okay. Safari is for 5 hours and 27 minutes. Okay, you'll keep going on. My pickups were 92. Oh, I know you can't say nothing about that. I know you have nothing to say about that. It was actually down from last week to 29%. Yeah, I'll do the math or whatever that is. So yes, that was my screen time. Now, Melissa, what is your screen time?
Okay, so for me, for last week, my average was 6 hours and 26 minutes for the week. My most used app was Instagram for 10 hours and 12 minutes. And then Google Maps for 10 hours. Mm-hmm. And then TikTok for 4 hours and 30 minutes.
Per day?
For the week.
Oh, okay.
I'm not. I thought my Google Maps looked a little off. Like 10 hours is a lot. But I realized that Saturday probably ran up.
Damn.
My average amount of pickups were 129. My most pickups was Sunday, 215. My total amount of pickups was 905 for the week. So that was Melissa's last week.
Okay. Oh, and then subscriber check. We are currently at 5,562 subscribers on YouTube right now. Okay, now going forward, this was some week. Okay, and I've said this before in the podcast, right? I've said that I think it sucks from a content perspective. Once we solve the problem before the podcast comes, because then it's almost like the hype of knowing what's going to happen next, is gone. But before that happened, we were definitely going through a lot. Okay, I'm gonna get into all of that. So I will start off with the candles and the craft fair we did last week. So my beautiful, phenomenal, amazing girlfriend, Anita Burnett. Okay, her name is actually Melissa for everybody who thinks her name is Anita. It's not, it's Melissa. She had went to an event with my sister on Saturday, and we had a craft fair scheduled for the weekend. So during that weekend, Melissa was not going to be there on Saturday. So we had to come up with people who could help us out to do the craft fair on Saturday, because I would just be by myself at the craft fair, right? Our system works with 2 people. I think it works most optimal with 3. But we've had Melissa's brother, who has been a great help over the last 2 weeks, and he came. Before I knew if not he was coming, I had invited my cousin to come. So it was her. Y'all know my cousin. Y'all remember her. She's been on the podcast, been featured, and she also, there was some people who know. Sarah probably remembers. And then, so we got both of them that morning, right? So Melissa had to be with my sister by 1:00. So the craft fair starts at 11, excuse me. So we had to go to get her brother, which is about 30 minutes from us, and then we had to go and get my cousin. Now, the day before, Melissa and I were having some difficulties. Okay, let's start with that, which bled over into the next day. So we had a plan to get to the craft fair on time. Okay, that did not happen. Here is why that was not able to happen that day. I was like, you know what? Beautiful, phenomenal, amazing girlfriend, I'm going to offer my services to you to make the candles. It was the last minute. We make sure we get these candles done. We'll make sure everything is completed. So my job was to cut out the dust covers. Okay. If you ever bought a candle, then you know what that looks like. Well, if you ever bought an Ember candle, then you know what that looks like. They're circular with a little tag. You could just kind of take the dust cover off. Keep the dust off the candle. So my job was to cut these out. It did not go as well as Melissa would have liked it to go. All right. So she gave me about 10 dust covers to cut out. This little rectangle you got to cut out, and there's a circle you got to cut out. Do you have any lying around? So everybody who was watching the podcast, you could see what my job was to do to cut this out.
Or you could buy a candle.
Or you could buy a candle, like Melissa said, at embercandle.co. MBURCANDLE. The link is in the description. If you like musky smells, I would say get wind down. If you like sweet smells, I would say get do not disturb or room service. My personal favorite is people watching. It's a very spicy, strong smell. Okay, people have called room service the masculine scent. I don't really sense it or see it, but hey, okay. Oh, you have actually one to cut out. Perfect. Okay, so this is. I think I had that on a sheet. This is even better. I cut this one out, right? I did. I remember this one. I can tell. So this, and it looks very nice too. That's how I'm gonna cut it out. This is a dust cover for the candle. Okay, look at this. Look at this. Boom. Look at that. You see it? You see it? Look at the back. Okay. You see? Boom. All right. So this is obviously on paper. So what my job was to do is to cut out this little rectangle right here in the middle, right? And then after I do that, to then cut this circle thing out of the whole paper. So this one looks very nice, okay? And I know I did this one too. I did this one, okay? I take pride in my work, all right? Now, the first batch that I did not come out like this, okay? There were a lot of issues with the first batch at 10. Now, Melissa did not expect it to be more than one batch. She assumed, I'm gonna give you this. It's easy to do. Just do this and give it back to me when you're done. I was like, I got you. I'm gonna do that for you, right? So now I'm over here cutting them out. Now, the ones that I'm cutting out right now, again, if you see this is where the problem comes in. It's this little rectangle right here. This is where all of the stress that we had started from the weekend came from this little thing right here. My first couple of tries, this line was like all the way over here, right? So it wasn't this small. And the reason this is here is for the wick, if you don't know. It goes right on top of the wick like that, boom. So it was slanted, some of them. The tops, the bottoms were slanted. The square, because I messed up, I made the square bigger. So now the square is supposed to be this small, the rectangle, excuse me. And now it's all the way actually down here by the bottom. So it's supposed to be real cute and precise like this. This is not how I was cutting them to begin with, right? So Melissa and I had a tensious, what you call it, tension? Was there tension during that study session of these?
Which one?
This whole process.
The whole process? A little bit, because, well, I was trying to work on myself. So, yeah.
Okay. So, I'm going to give you guys a quick overview of how that went down. So, I cut out these 10, right? And for people who have been here for a very long time, I have a condition. Okay, y'all probably have. It's a condition that I have. I've been diagnosed with it, and pretty much it's called the 70-30. That's what they call it. It's a medical condition. All right, this is in the medical books, and I didn't make this up. All right,
I don't know.
I didn't make it up. The doctors have said this is what I have. So how this condition works is, I will do something till it's about 70 to 75% done, and then I'll stop. I'll take a break, and then I'll come back and do it later. No matter what the thing, it could be drinking a glass of juice. I will drink about 75% of the juice and leave the rest, and come back and drink it later. Right? I can do editing a video, about to post it, 75% of the way I'm done. I gotta just upload in it. Nope, I won't finish it right there. I will wait to do the next 25%. Now, here's my reason why I think I do that. When I was growing up, my mom used to say, like, if I got tired from doing my homework, I can just finish it in the morning. So I'm used to waking up early in the morning to finish my work. Like, if I start getting real tired while I'm working, I'm not going to finish it. She'll go, don't worry about it. You wake up in the morning and you can finish it. So that's kind of how my process works. When I get exhausted by something, I just go, okay, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to come back later. But it tends to always be around the 75%. Right? So I got the 75% of these. I cut them all out. Right? And now I looked at them and they look kind of funny to me. I'm like, they don't look as clean as they should be. But I'm like, I don't know if Melissa really cares about it. But I know there's a problem here. So I'm going to try to fix these. So I got my marshmallows. I'm laying in the bed. I'm eating my marshmallows. I'm relaxing. Right? Melissa does not work in the same way I work. Okay, Melissa likes to do the thing until she can't stand, like just continue all the way through to power through. Right? That's not really how it works. I'm like, you know what? I need a break. I'll take a break. That's how I operate. So she sees that these are laying under the table, underneath the whatever we had on the table, and she feels that they're finished. All right, she takes them and she goes. This is her face that she makes. All right, so she looks at me. She sees me laying in the bed. She's like, okay, so he must be finished with these. So she comes over to me. She's like this, right? She's like, and I'm like, what happened, babe? She's like, what happened? What you mean? What's going on? She was like. So I started laughing. She started laughing. I'm like, I was gonna finish. I wasn't done yet, right? So, she then told me what was wrong with them. I said, okay, I'm gonna try to fix them. This is where it got worse. So me trying to fix them, they were close to this, but not this. Some of them, like, it wasn't as clean as this. But now when I tried to fix it, it got worse. So now whatever used to be a rectangle is now a square. I'm cutting all around the words. They're all lopsided. The lines are everything looks all crazy, right? And I'm like, so babe, what you think about these? She's like, Donivan, what I'm gonna do with these? She's like, I can't use these. I'm like, you sure? I'm like, it's not perfect, but like it's a square. I'm like, she's like, I can't use these. I'm like, fine. So now I'm like, you know what? I gotta figure out what I'm doing wrong. So I have a new technique to cut out the thing, and I get a new batch of 10, right? The time is probably like, what, 11:30? No, it's like 10 o'clock.
No, it wasn't that late.
Like 8?
Yeah,
like 8 o'clock. Like 8 o'clock, 8:30, right? So I get a new batch of 10, start cutting them out, precision. Now, the first one I did, okay, Melissa came over, and she wanted to show me. Let me show you how to do it. I was like, no. I was like, no. I said, I got a new technique. I want to try my technique, and if my technique works, let me know if this is what you're looking for. Okay? She didn't really like that, so she walked away, right? So then I did my technique, and I said, okay, come back, I'm done. Now I said, what do you think about this? She said, it looks fine. All right. So then I said, okay, now let me see what you be doing. She did her technique. I said, okay, so your technique, got it. So next 10 I did, they were usable, great. So during this interaction, right, I felt like Melissa was not a good teacher, right? I felt my feelings were hurt by how she was teaching me. And I'm like, I don't think she's a good teacher. That's what I said. I said, you're a bad teacher. Now, I do think from that situation, I did learn how to be more empathetic to a person that I'm teaching. I did feel like I learned that. And I think it helps me be a better teacher myself, which is always good. But I did learn from that interaction, from Melissa teaching me in a way that I thought that I didn't like, and how I felt in that interaction. So the next day, we're having this conversation for hours before we have to leave, okay? I'm telling her why I think she's not a good teacher. She's telling me why she thinks I'm not a good student. And we're going back and forth. Now, you guys can let me know if you guys think what makes a good teacher or a good student. What I said was, a good teacher is someone that helps the student to understand, right? Melissa was saying that it's on the child or the student to ask the teacher for help where they need help, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I feel like the teacher should be able to understand the child and know what they need. And Melissa feels like the child or the student should be able to know to ask the teacher when they need help.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I don't want to get anything wrong. So we had this convo for about 2 hours. Okay. So because of that conversation, we ended up running late to get her brother. So instead of going to get him and then going to get my cousin, we got him, and then I took both of them to the craft fair. Okay.
Both of them, you mean?
What?
When you say both of them, because you just said my brother and your cousin. So who's the both of them you talking about?
I said we didn't get my cousin.
Oh.
I said instead of getting my cousin.
Oh, okay.
So I took Melissa and her brother to the craft fair, right? And then I had to drive like 45 minutes to an hour back to get my cousin. Now before I did that, okay, Melissa asked me to get Dunkin' Donuts. This took longer than it should have for different reasons. Okay, I'm not gonna get to the reasons. Just know Dunkin' Donuts did some funny stuff and so on and so forth. So it took a little longer than she wanted. Mind you, she has to be to my sister at 1, and she has to drive from where we are to up there. And I still have to go and get my cousin. So I drive to get my cousins almost an hour to get her, and then I come back almost an hour to come back. Right? So that's 2 hours we're looking at. So the thing starts at 11. They got there at like 11:02, Melissa and her brother. Okay, boom. So I get my cousin. I come back. It's probably like 12:30. It was like 1 o'clock. I came back. 1:30. So now when I bring my cousin, this is her first time there. So now it's the rush hour of this time. I have to now teach her what we need while also managing Melissa's brother, because it's his second time working with us. So I'm like, okay, let's try and I can make sure everything is running smoothly. Make sure that we're going through the whole right wording. Make sure that we have enough bags. Make sure we know where to put the cars. Everything has to be good now, and I'm throwing in a fire to teach them how to do this at that time. Her brother knows more because he did it last week, so he was kind of good, but again, it's only a second time with us, so it's still just like little tweaks here and there. This interaction this day became more difficult just because of, like I said, the chaos that was ensuing in terms of getting everybody on the same page and dealing with traffic as they come. I feel like they were getting kind of tired. They were leaving and going out to talk to people, going to get food. So I was kind of there by myself a lot of the time. Or yeah, a good amount of time I was kind of just selling by myself. So that was that day. Now Melissa on her end had a whole crazy situation. So she leaves us at 1:30 and finally gets to where she has to go around 2:30, 3?
Like 2:30.
Like 2:30, right?
And I was supposed to be there for 1.
For 1. So now she gets there around 2:30. She then has to, after this is all done, take my sister, drive her and my mom back to the Bronx, which is, if y'all know, from Harlem to the Bronx. Then from there, she has to drive to the airport to JFK, which is not where we were at in Williamsburg, and then she had to drive from there back to get us. So that's 7 o'clock. Okay, that she gets back. She gets us around like 7:30, but she's exhausted. She did not plan to get there at that time. As far as to my sister, she didn't think that she had to be out driving that long because she didn't know they were going to JFK, which is further than what she thought. So she was doing a lot of driving that day from. Right. She was doing a lot of driving that day from after the event.
And at night.
And what? Eat. And had no food. Because I know my beautiful girlfriend. Well, why didn't you eat? Because I feel like I know why you didn't eat, but I feel like you said it's not the reason.
So, okay. When I got there, everyone already ordered their food, and the place that we were at took a long time to bring the food out. So they just happened to bring out an extra plate of food. So everyone got their food and there was an extra plate. So it was like, okay, it's red velvet waffles with like cream cheese frosting or whatever. Do you want it? I'm like, okay. But the frosting was like all over the waffle. I don't really do great with sauces. So I wasn't feeling the cream cheese, so I didn't eat it. I just figured I'll bring it home for you because you would like it.
Yeah, but I don't like wet food, so I don't know how you thought.
It wasn't wet. It was just like
cream cheese gonna be soggy, no?
I don't think it would be soggy.
It looks soggy to me. I was like, I don't know about that. But anyways, so Melissa didn't eat, so now she is a little cranky. So this is Saturday, okay? Sunday is 9/11. Sunday, it also rained on Sunday, so it was a very slow Sunday. So on Saturday, we hit $800. No, I'm lying. We hit like $700. We hit like $690 something, like $675 or $690. So it wasn't a terrible day, but we do $1,200 on a Saturday when me and Melissa are there. And then on Sunday we normally do like $500 to $600, something in that range. But it was slow because it was raining and it was 9/11. So here's where things start. The pressure is getting worse. Okay.
Okay, I see you with your TikToks.
I mean, I'll be out here, Melissa. I'll be out here. Now, what are you doing, sir? Go to sleep. She what she's doing? She's playing. She's relaxed. Can you do that? Oh my God.
Podcast relaxation.
Okay. So Saturday comes, and we're like, okay, we're gonna book for the next craft fair for the next weekend. We are on a roll right now. We did craft fair probably like two weeks in a row, and a week before that we did it bi-weekly. So we're like getting more comfortable and we're getting more frequent bookings for the craft fair. So we're making a little bit more money to get us out of this hole that we're in. So I don't know. Things just went downhill very, very, very quickly. Okay. So we found out that the following week, we just missed the deadline in terms of, I don't even care to call it a deadline. It got booked up for us to do the 17th and the 18th of September. So we can't do that craft fair. We need the money to pay for our car note, so it doesn't get repossessed, which is on Monday, right? That's like $600. So if we was able to do the craft fair, we would have been set. We would have had enough money to be able to pay the craft fair and then survive until the next weekend, the week after that, actually. The reason I say we would have skipped the 24th and the 25th is because my sister had wanted to go to Six Flags for that day. And we had planned this from almost 2 months ago. All right. So we're like, okay, we're not going to be able to do the 17th and 18th, which would be this weekend coming up. We're not going to be able to do 24th or 25th. So we can only do the 1st and the 2nd of October. That's when we'll be able to do the next craft fair. That's 3 weeks. We got to pay for groceries. We have to pay for, whatever other bills come up throughout that time. The car note, the house note, or the mortgage that we have to pay technically for the house in Philly. That's kind of covered by YouTube. So it's not really a problem. But if it is low, like let's say that the house note has to be like $1,600, we only might make 12 to 13 from YouTube. We have to still come out of our pocket a couple $100s to cover that. So we were set if we were able to do the craft fair. So that Sunday, the lady tells us, "Oh, we just got booked up, so it's unavailable." So we're like, "Damn! If we had more money, we could be booking them out further into advance." We're like, "All right, so fuck it. We could just have to do it for the first and second for the first and second, right?" So we had to pack up all our stuff, get in the car, and go home. Now this is where, as I started this story off, I said things kind of got really crazy. Okay. I don't know if I would say Melissa and I were going to break up, but I think it was a lot of stuff that happened that day that was just very chaotic. And I think the pressure of everything that we went through kind of just culminated all at one time. And I think it just kind of went in the wrong direction. Now, so the conversation that kind of started this whole thing was, we were trying to figure out, like, should we book a craft fair for the 1st and the 2nd? This was my plan. I was like, we could book a craft fair for the 1st and 2nd, and then if something happens this weekend where somebody cancels, then we can just say, hey, can we refund the money, or try and say, hey, can we slide into that spot and we'll figure out the money situation, right? That was what I was thinking. So I had told Melissa about it, and she was kind of saying that she didn't want to do that. That wasn't her preferred route. She wanted to hold the money a little bit longer to see what might happen, right? So that's kind of what we were thinking about. So in this car ride, Melissa and I going back and forth about this, and I'm starting to get annoyed because I feel like she's getting annoyed, and I don't feel like it's something we should get annoyed about. So she has said that I am trying to book 2 craft fairs, and I said, I'm not trying to book 2 craft fairs. And then she said, you are. And I said, I'm not. And then she said, this is what I heard. This is what I remember. I said, I'm not trying to book 2 craft fairs. And then she responded and said, I didn't say you're trying to book 2 craft fairs. Right? So that at this point, this is when, like I said, I think the pressure of everything just kind of culminated at one time. And I also think over the last couple of days, we've been having like these arguments over things that are, in my opinion, are small, but I could feel myself, like my meter reaching its limit. Cause I'm like, I don't like to argue, because in general, I don't mind debating, but when it starts to get emotional, to me, I don't have the capacity for that. So I felt like I snapped, right? Now, in my entire life, I cannot remember a time where I felt like I snapped, ever. And I felt as though like a fuse blew in my brain. Like that's what I felt. And I use it as an example or a metaphor because I remember in college when my girlfriend cheated on me, I felt like my brain like glass and it shattered because everything I thought and had planned, just how I thought the world worked, how I thought if you treat your girlfriend, how this would happen, and this things, like if everything you thought was a lie, that's kind of what my brain was or how it was operating, right? So when that happened in college, I'm like, wow, everything I thought was a lie. During that time, I think one of my friends had did something crazy to me that I thought was wild. I got arrested. To people that I dealt with, as far as another friend who has told his girlfriend not to help me with the police and don't do anything about it. I had another friend who tried to badmouth me to a girl I was talking to because he wanted to talk to her. It was a lot of things, and like I said, I'm like, wow, this is just crazy. So. And I remember that moment very vividly when at least when she told me that she cheated. So this time I felt a similar react in my brain. I felt like that, like, oh my, like snap. And I felt as though I could not control myself. And I don't really have moments like that. I can't really tell you any moment where I feel like I can't control myself. So in the moment I'm like, yo, I gotta get out the car. So I stopped the car. We was going to Wendy's. I was gonna get out the car and just walk. The Wendy's was probably like a 20-minute walk and 10-minute car ride. And I'm just like, I gotta get out the car. I can't be around her because I'm so enraged. Like I felt so much darkness inside of me that I'm like, this is not good because I don't know what this feeling is. I need to go somewhere else. I need to be somewhere else and just walk and figure something out. But I'm like, damn, Wendy's is mad far, and I don't want to just walk to Wendy's from here because that's 20 minutes. She would be in the car by herself. I'm like, I'm gonna put my headphones in. I'm gonna drive to Wendy's. So we get to Wendy's. Like I said, I'm like, I've never been this angry I can remember in my entire life, like ever. So we get to Wendy's. I'm like, you know what? I don't even really want to order for you. Okay, you could just order your food. So he orders her food. We eat, and then we go back home. We get home. The whole time I'm still just like enraged inside of me. So we get to the house, and I get out the car, and we're in front of the house. I walk. I'm like, I'm looking for my keys. I can't find them. I'm like, you know what? I don't even care. I just gotta call somebody because I gotta talk to somebody. I need to get these words out. I need to talk to someone because I feel like I'm going crazy. I cannot allow myself to. I can't allow me to lose it. Right. So I'm like, all right, boom. Let me just leave. So like I said, I'm on the phone. I'm talking to my sister, and I'm just like telling her like, yo, I don't know why I feel like this. This feels crazy. I'm not sure what's going on. And we just talk for a while, and then some other minor things happen. Like people were coming up to me and asking me, am I okay? Some lady was trying to get to a hotel that she was trying to get money from. It was just a lot of stuff happening. And that's my perspective on it. So now, do you want to tell your part? You want me to tell your part? What? I feel like I didn't. Your face.
Expecting you to ask me.
Oh.
I could talk.
Okay, sure. Because I think one thing that came from this, several things came from this, but one of them is the fact that just the perspective of one interaction can be drastically different from other people. Like two people could go into the same situation and come out of it totally different. So Melissa is going to tell her part of how she perceived the interaction.
Yeah. So, okay. My daily routine that I have. Okay. Yeah. How to explain this? Yes. So my daily routine that I have, every day at 5 o'clock, I take edible. That's just what I do. The reason why is because I have a lot of energy, I think. And it kind of is like anxiety too in there, but pretty much it's very hard for me to turn myself off and to completely not do anything. So when it comes to like going to bed, I have problems sleeping. So I typically take my edible at like 5 o'clock. That makes me very tired, and that helps me to sleep throughout the night. And it, like I said, it kind of turns my brain off. If I don't do it, I'm up all night. So that's kind of just my routine for right now. So when we do the craft fairs, edibles take a little time to kick in. And like I said, I normally take it at 5. Our craft fair ends at 6. So what I like to do to kind of make sure that I take it early enough for it to like work and, you know, not too late that I wake up high, I try, whenever we do the craft fair, I try to take it like as soon as we get in the car, like I said, to allow it time to work and everything without me waking up, you know, hot. So I had took the edible when we first got into the car. This is before any conversation really happened, and I don't think that Donivan saw me take it. So by time, like everything that Donivan said, okay. So my perspective with booking the craft fair was that I felt like, because okay, this is what in my head, this is what I saw him doing. We have $1, right? Let's say, make it very simple. We have $1. Each craft fair costs $1. So in my head, I'm like, okay, you're trying to solidify $2 worth of craft fairs with $1. So that's kind of where I was like, I don't want to be in a position where they'll be like, oh no, you already booked for this future date, so I'm not gonna put that money to this date because you paid for that one. Like I have I'm less optimistic when it comes to people being flexible with things, but I have learned that people are flexible with things. So it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, it makes me nervous. It's not solidified. We finesse it. That's not my strong suit. So when I was trying to explain it, I wouldn't be surprised if I used the word book and pay interchangeably. So he could have repeated back to me like, oh, I'm not trying to book 2 craft fairs. And I'm like, that's not what I said. But the reason I'm saying is because I'm thinking like you're trying to pay for one craft fair, for 2 craft fairs with 1 craft fair worth of money. That's pretty much the concept that I was trying to relay as to why I felt apprehensive about it. So through that miscommunication or miswording, that I feel like caused Donivan, like he said, to snap. So once we got to the Wendy's and everything, yeah, the food ate in silence and everything. So okay, getting back to the house, now that I've eaten, and remember I took the edible as soon as we got in the car, so it started working once we got to the house. So I'm sitting and I'm like really anxious because literally he pulled it to the house and then he left, and I had his keys in my purse. So it's kind of like, but he ain't asked me for the keys, so I just kind of left it, if that makes sense. But now I'm in a position where I can't really leave the car because we're in front of the house, but I can't really leave the car because he don't have the keys. I have both sets of keys, so it's like, how is he gonna move the car? And I don't know where he went. So to me, it just felt like, and I wasn't sure if he knew if I took the edibles or not. So now I'm just kind of like, you gone, I don't know where you went, I can't drive the car, I don't know what's happening, I'm under the influence, and I have all the keys. So I go upstairs to look for Donivan. He's not there. I'm like, okay, I don't even know. Now I'm really confused. I don't even know where he went. So then I went back down to the car. Now I'm sitting in the car. It's been 30 minutes. I'm like, damn. Am I going to sit here for the rest of the night? And when you were looking for your keys, I was like, damn, so you're just going to leave me in the, like, where, in my head, I'm like, where are you going to come back down to move the car if you're looking for your keys? Because I can't drive. So that made me very anxious. Like, I was very frustrated with that. And I just ended up parking the car and walking back to the house. So, yeah. Did I miss anything?
Not really. Let me see.
Yeah. You know, I felt like Donivan did not care about me. He just left me there in front of the house. And it's like, I was conflicted because I'm like, he left me in the middle of nowhere. He left me in front of the house, but he still left me. And I was under the influence. So that I was very upset. Very upset. So, yeah.
So in this moment, this is what I said about perspective, right? Because in my head, before I even get to the perspective part, in my head, I'm thinking I can't be with Melissa anymore. That's what my brain goes to. And the reason that I operate in that way is because it's the most efficient route, where if you have a leak in a boat, it's plug the leak, right? Or get out the boat. That's what it is, right? And for me, when it comes to people, right? If I have a person in my life that I feel like is causing me stress, my immediate go-to is, if the stress is coming from A, if I am not around A, I will not have the stress anymore. That's how I operate. So when I felt that anger, I'm like, I feel like I never said to myself, like, we have to break up. I was just contemplating, like, is that the best route? Because if I feel like I'm gonna snap, or I feel like I snapped in terms of my emotion, I'm like, I should not be with someone that makes me feel like that. That was what my mindset was. And that's it. Like I said, that's how it is across the board. So with a friend, with a girlfriend, with family, if you stress me out, my instinct is, I'm just not going to talk to you anymore. Because it just, to even talk about it, go back and forth, tell me that you're right, tell me that I'm wrong, whatever. The easiest thing would be just to not deal with it anymore. That's the easiest route. And at that time, I was thinking about going to my mom's house. I was thinking about going to my sister's house. I was just thinking about going somewhere. I just need to be somewhere else. I just need to go. And that day I was going to walk. I was going to walk around outside. But it was raining and my phone was on 4%. So I ended up just staying in the garage of the building. So, like I said, so from Melissa's perspective, she is saying she felt as though I didn't care about her, which at the time I can't say that I did, because I was so upset. But at that time, my focus was, I need to make sure that I'm safe, and I need to go somewhere where everybody is safe, where I can control myself and be like, okay, I'm good, everybody's good. So I left front of the house and I walked away. My mindset was, if you want to go inside, you can get the candle stuff, take it inside the house, and park the car. Or honestly, leave the car there. Either one would have been fine with me. On her end, she was like, I took this edible. He doesn't care about me because I'm high and I don't feel safe driving like this. Now, I didn't know that she had taken an edible, and she didn't know that I didn't know she didn't take an edible. So I just, like I said, again, I just think perspective is very interesting. And the reason why I felt like I snapped specifically was when I had asked Melissa if she had said something that I heard her say, and she said, no, I didn't say that. I was just like, I can't even talk to you. Like, that was my brain. Like, I feel like if how I would consider it, like talking to a brick wall. It's like trying to have a conversation with a wall and then being like, why is the wall not responding to me? And then expecting the wall to respond. Think about how crazy that would feel if you were talking to the wall, like, hey, why are you a wall? And the wall doesn't respond. Like, hey, you didn't hear me say something to you? And the wall's like, saying nothing because it's a wall. And you're like, yo, you dead ass, you're gonna ignore me? You a wall? And so that is the feeling that I got, where I'm like, I feel like I'm going crazy because I'm like, I heard this. You're saying you didn't say that. I asked if you say you didn't say it. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, my brain just blew a fuse. So like I said, that was my feeling about the interaction. So I ended up coming back inside. I had got the front doorman to open the door for me. I thought Melissa was going to be upstairs, and she wasn't. And then as soon as I came in the house, she came right after me. So we didn't talk really for the whole day, the rest of that night. And then for the majority of the next day, we didn't talk. So we finally, talked it over the next day, which would have been Monday. And we have realized this about ourselves from before when we do escape rooms, is that how we operate is it's different, right? I compare myself to a wolf, and I compare Melissa to a lion, and I feel like she's more of a pack leader, and I feel like I'm more individualistic. Like, I prefer to be by myself. I prefer not to be around other people. I feel like if somebody's not gonna do something, I'd rather do it myself. I just prefer to be alone, to do whatever I'm gonna do. That's my preference. I feel as though Melissa is the opposite, and I feel as though for her, it's like she would rather try to help someone or tell someone what to do to help them solve a problem. For me, I'd rather let the person learn by themselves and learn from trial and error. And that's how we both approach the situation. So we also came to the conclusion that because we both feel like we are leaders, that causes a lot of conflict in a relationship. So we talked about that for, I don't know, maybe 2 hours or so of just trying to understand what the solution could be to prevent that from happening going forward. And we have a system in place for situations like this. Normally after an argument, if you know, okay, that's usually how we kind of get over arguments. And I think because of that system, it helps us both to level out in terms of just how we're feeling, right? And we haven't been doing it after our previous arguments, and I think it's been building up to where it's at now, or where it was at.
So, if you are a veteran of the podcast, you will remember the whole 60, 40, 50, 50, 100 thing. And I don't know if I've actually given my opinion on it explicitly, but pretty much Donivan was talking all his nonsense about how it should be 0 and 100, and I genuinely did feel like it was nonsense. Until I was kind of faced with two situations that I saw. We had two situations that I saw. At one situation, the person was happy in their relationship, and when I spoke to them, they were like, "Yeah, I feel like a princess, blah blah blah. Yeah, he handles everything. Like I don't even bother him. Like I let him do what he gotta do." And I'm like, "Damn, you let him." And she was happy, like I said. So I'm like, okay. Took a mental note. I had another situation on the other side. That person wasn't as happy in their relationship and felt like it should be 50-50 or 60-40. So I was kind of like, who do I want to be? Because I can feel both sides. So I decided, okay, this is when Donivan and I would kind of argue a lot. I decided, okay, I'm gonna try and be like the 0-100 thing, and that did help a lot because I realized that I don't have to take the lead on everything, and I don't have to. Donovan is very capable himself, so it's kind of like I can trust that he can handle certain things, and he can, and that also in that situation he also trusts me to handle certain things too, right? So, yeah, that's kind of how we've been operating since then. My only thing is that I have always been a leader or been in charge of things my whole life. I have two younger brothers. Whenever I would go to camp or school, I was more mature than the people I was with. So I was always in that position of either helping or kind of, helping people, telling them what to do. Like, oh, you could do this, you could do that. That's just naturally how I am. So the thing that's kind of hard is that with the situation that we're in, we don't have money. It's very apparent. We say it all the time. But what that means is now every monetary decision has to be run by each other, right? So if I'm gonna go grocery shopping, if I want to get this thing or do this thing, I have to run it by Donivan first, because it's like this money this money affects the both of us, right? But however, since we in the 100-0, Donivan does get the final say on, like, well, I would even really say we're in 100-0, but whatever. For purpose of the podcast, Donivan gets the final say pretty much on a lot of things. So, and that doesn't mean that he doesn't take what I want into consideration. It just means that I don't have the final say. So, to me, it kind of feels like I don't really have as much control over things, because So yeah, it feels like I don't have control over a lot of things, and that doesn't stem only from Donivan either. Like, having a lack of money means that also you can't really do the things that you want to do. So everything feels very limited, and then inside the house too, I have to, even if I want to work on music or I want to do this, I want to do that. We live in a studio, it's a shared space, so I have to be considerate of either what he's doing, what he wants to do, and all that stuff. So it kind of sucks. So it's like, I can see how my leader personality still shows up while I'm with him. Oh, that's the other thing. We don't go around nobody else. It just be me and him. Why? Because we can't afford we cannot afford going away from each other. If y'all remember a couple, like a month or two ago, he was going to the gym. I would have the house to myself for a couple hours. I would go to my mom's house. I would go to go grocery shopping and stuff and kind of take my time and relax. We don't really have those same luxuries because we don't have the money. So now we have to think about how much gas is being spent if I go all the way to Rockaway and come all the way back, or like we can't even afford the gym membership, so now he can't leave. Like, I be wanting him to, yes, get out, leave. So it's just hard. So there's no place for me to be dominant in my life right now, because I spend all my time in the house and with Donivan. So I can still get that kind of like being in charge of things feeling from something else. We just can't either afford to do it, or it's just not a part of our life right now. So for me, that I don't know if I would say it. Yeah, it just feels like I don't have as much control over the things that's happening in my day to day, and I feel like what we have works. It's just kind of like, okay, how do I explain it? I have to be very mindful of my personality to not peek out too much, because I don't want it to make you feel uncomfortable. So it's hard to be mindful of something 24/7. We always at the craft fair, you there. Wake up, you there. Go to sleep, you there. Like, we always here. So I think once we have kind of that separation where I could be dominant somewhere else and then come home and be, yeah, what you gonna do? Yeah, and just be, relax. I don't have to take care of things. And also, I think situations with money make me more anxious. So now, like with the whole situation over the weekend, the problem is we didn't make as much money as we should have, or as we could have, as we normally do. So that put us at a lower thing. We weren't able to book the following week, so there's no money there. We can't do the following week after that, so that's 2 weeks of no money. And then the other week, I think I booked out, so that's 3 weeks of no money.
I didn't even tell him that part.
So that's almost a month until we can do the next craft fair. That shit stresses me out. And that's the other thing we talk about too. Donivan, like I said, or like he said, we operate in two different ways. I'm preventative. I want to prevent. Donivan, he's like, okay, we will handle it. He wants to handle it once we're there. So for me, preventing would be like, okay, what time we gotta leave? Okay, what's the distance? Okay, what's the best route for me to take? Should I go here first, there first, there first? I want to plan everything before I do it, and then just execute. Donovan's kind of like, okay, all right, look, what's going on now? Okay, I'm gonna move forward from what's happening now. And I think because I'm focused on preventing things, I kind of get sucked into feeling negative feelings about things when it happens, because I feel like I could have prevented it. I could have did something for this to not happen. I think Donivan doesn't dwell on that. And that's why we have a difference of either opinions or that kind of clashes when we have our conversations. So yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I think for sure that is another part of it. We handle things very differently. Just that it's just how we are. And I always tell people, if you're in a relationship, you should try an escape room, like do an escape room. Melissa and I did an escape room, and in this particular escape room, it started off as a jail. So on the left side is one person, and then they put the other person on the right hand side. So that was, in my opinion, that was the best situation for us, because we still had to communicate with each other through the wall to figure out, okay, on my side I have a red arrow. you have anything on your side? Okay, I have a blue arrow. Okay, on my side, I need a red arrow to go upwards. I'm like, okay, on my side, the blue arrow should be going downwards. So we are working together separately, and that is the best situation for us that we realize, where we both feel comfortable. I don't feel like she is breathing down my neck, and she doesn't feel like I am being too nonchalant about things, because even if both situations work, if we're both working on the same team, we're going to see the other person, like I'll see her as being frantic, she'll see me as being like I don't care. And even if both things get done, we're still going to have the feeling that we had while it was happening. So yeah, so that is, like I said, just part of how we operate in life. So it all culminated all at that one time to just whatever happened. And I feel like, for me mostly, because I don't feel like Melissa felt, she didn't feel really that bad until I left the car in front of the house. That's what she felt the most or the worst. I had felt awful from before then. So I think that situation for me was a lot bigger than it was for her. Like I said, I was so gone mentally that I was just like, I can't even, like I said, my brain was just not there.
I think the way that I kind of rationalized it was that the conversation itself that we were having wasn't, I didn't feel like it wasn't that detrimental to our relationship. So that's why I was more so, I think, I want to say more calm, but I was not expecting it to go where it went. Because I'm like, I didn't say anything disrespectful, like I didn't, I cheat, nothing like that. So I'm thinking like, okay, this is something that we could work through. But I knew something was different from your reaction. And like you said earlier, I think it had to do with the fact that it was a multiple day thing of just kind of like arguing or whatever. And that whole week was stressful. I don't know if you're going to get into the other things that we did earlier in the week as well, but it was just a lot happening that week.
Yeah. So now let's get, pour to a positive note. So the solution that we came up with, and this is again to how we operate. So Melissa this morning was trying to find new craft fairs to go to, right? My mindset was, okay, the upcoming craft fair, right? Not this weekend, but the following weekend, is still available, but it's not available for our category. They have candles, they have bed and bath, they have other, and they have jewelry. Candles is not available, but bed and bath is. So what my solution is if I have my sister, if she pays for it for us, right? If they allow us through, then we're gonna do the craft fair like we do every other week. They have a rule that if they cancel it because you're in the wrong category, they'll just refund you your money. So that's my solution. I'm like, okay, let's book the day that we can book, which would be the 7th and the 8th, and then let's just do this for the 24th and the 25th. So that's my solution. And I'm like, if they cancel it, we can't do it, then at least we know it doesn't work. But if it does work, we'll be good. Melissa's perspective is, let's find somewhere else to do a craft fair. Now, this is why I said I think we work better when we're kind of doing things separately, but that's very difficult when people are on the same team. It's very, because for me, like I said, I'll do it by myself. I figure out a solution for it. Melissa is more so of like, this is how would you describe it?
I just think that I think our solution, how we look for a solution, is different. I think that I don't have the same amount of disdain for authority as you do, and I also don't have as much skill in finessing. Like, my brain don't operate like that. My brain's like, damn, you said I can't step inside? Okay, I'm not gonna step inside. I feel like you'd be like, it's not locked, I'm gonna go inside. Like, I wouldn't try the door. I would see the sign and be like, oh, it's closed, I can't go in. So
I think I agree with that.
So I just think that our solutions just reflect that, where it's like, okay, I can't go here, maybe I've been complacent, maybe I need to look for another place to go to so that when this happens, it doesn't affect us as badly. So now in my head I'm like, okay, let's have a Rolodex of craft fairs that we could go to. And like you said, on your end, you're like, okay, it's booked out for our category, but it's not all the categories, so I can still finesse myself in there.
Yeah, I think, like I said, so what we boiled it down to is a form of communication. It's trying to somehow, if I'm thinking red and she's thinking blue, it's somehow trying to like communicate that to each other somewhere in the middle. And just choosing the right words, the right perspectives is kind of what we've been trying to figure out. Just from what she's saying right now, I think one of a better communication style for us could be if she asks me, well, how do you want to finesse this? And I say, and I would say, what other ideas do you have for this? Like, I don't know what would be the words that feel right to you, but like, that's for me, it's like, how you want to finesse? Okay, let's try to finesse it this way. And it's like, I think, because here's my thing. Here's why I think it both works in this scenario specifically. If my idea doesn't work as far as getting the craft fair, we still have you who's looking for other craft fairs to go to. So it still works. So it's like, okay, and then if my idea does work, we make the money from this craft fair, and for the future date, we have other craft fairs to possibly go to. So like I said, that's the best thing. But if it was just me, I wouldn't look for other craft fairs. I'll try to figure out how to get this one, and if it doesn't work, then I'll try to figure out, then I might look at other craft fairs. Then your end is like, okay, if I'm only going to look at other craft fairs, you wouldn't try to get into this week. You're like, okay, they told me no, I'm not going to try to get in. And I'm like, so it's somewhere in the middle of those two things that we're, trying to just figure out that communication skill set or pattern.
I think another part of it too, I guess I can't really speak for you, but I can ask you what you think about what I'm about to say. I think that we kind of get offended from the other person not trying to go with the idea that's presented. Because it's kind of like, I have this plan, why would you want to do this? So maybe not taking ourselves as seriously might be a solution, but that's just a thought that I have. What do you think about that?
Originally my thought was like, nah, that's not true. But I'm like, I don't know if I'll say I'm offended, but I'm confused. And then, like I said, my biggest thing is I feel like it's a frantic decision on your end. So that's how. So when I perceive it that way, I'm like, why don't you just like be more chill and let's figure out a chill.
That's not me.
I know, but that's why I'm like, it's not. I don't know if I would say like it's just that it was like.
So I think it has to do with that kind of maybe being more understanding of the other person's nature, because I don't think I should get upset at you for not being frantic with me. Mm-hmm. And vice versa, where it's right. Like,
and I felt that today. That's why this morning I felt like I tried to work on that. I'm like, okay, because here's another thing too, which again, to me, you're frantic. You could tell me you're not. I'm gonna keep saying you are 100% of the time, right? But I say that because even if you are frantic, that's what you work best in. That's what you feel comfortable. Because if you were to not do that, you would feel uncomfortable. If I was to do that, I would feel uncomfortable. So I'm like, for me, it's like, let me just chill and figure out a solution. For you, it's like, oh no, I gotta do something right. I gotta figure this out. And then it's like, that works better for you. So for me this morning, I'm like, okay, this is what she does. And I'm like, this is how the candles came, because you did this. So I'm like, and this, I think is interesting, because with the candles, I'm like, if you want to do candles. So now you are doing everything, all the stuff you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. I'm not involved in it, because I'm like, if that's what you want to do that. And it come to me when you decide that's what you want to do. And because I don't want to have to put my energy to being like, oh my God, we got to figure it out. We got to figure this out. I'm like, okay, what is the next possible move that we can make that can have a great return for us? That's how I'm looking at it. You're looking at it just differently than how I'm looking at it. So when you come up with the candle idea, I would not have put the energy into the candles at that time period because of what we were doing. I would have been like, okay, let me try to figure out how to finesse the house. Yeah. How can I finesse another loan? How can I finesse the contract to extend the whatever? You're like, how can I make money from somewhere else to do this? How can I get a job? How can I do something else over here to do that? And like I said, so that, but us working like that was where the candles came from.
And that's essentially the escape room in motion.
Right. Like it's just kind of remembering like that, and it's. I think also part of it is that we have a small house, because in that situation I would just leave the room. I would just go downstairs, and you would come to me like, hey, I come up with this. I'd be like, what was it? And I was like, okay, cool. And I would just be like, all right, let's because I think also because we're so close together, you will go to me for something in that situation when you don't really have to. And I feel like similarly with the candles, where I'm like, you would come to me like, hey, look, I don't care. I'm like, I trust you to come up with something, and then when you figure that out, then we can go from there. But if you're kind of ballparking it, or like whatever they call it, tennis back and forth, and with me, I'm gonna be like, listen, do something. But that's gonna make you more annoyed, because you're like, well, you must not care, or you think I did about this differently than me, or something like that. Where it's like, it's not that, I just don't operate from that. So anything I give you is gonna be like, relax, chill, like just take a deep breath or something.
I think, yeah, I definitely see what you're talking about. Because even thinking back to the candles, like, I remember trying to ask you, like, what do you think about these scents? And you like, it smells like a candle. Like,
I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, just come up with something. I'm like, once you have something, I could start finessing. Then it's like, now we could get from A to B to C. But my biggest part is going to be A. And I've realized that even with talking to girls. One of my hardest parts was A, because I feel uncomfortable with just trying to get past that, like that initial interaction. It was always weird for me. And closing was something I also was not the best at. The middle is where I was just finesse it. The middle is like you're playing tennis. Like, all right, oh, you said that, I said this. Oh, you said that, I said this. That's where I operate in. But like getting it from zero to that to like. I know now, because I'm me. But back then, I was just, like I always say, I had a friend. I remember him talking to people, and I'm like, he cannot tell that they're uncomfortable talking to him. Like, he can't see their body language. I'm like, that's what I used to tell myself. But he might just ignore it. I don't know. But either way, whatever that is that he's doing, it's getting him to the middle. So I'm like, for where we are now, if you didn't do that there, we wouldn't be in the middle, where I could be like, okay, now I like this part. I could do this. I could do that. I could do this. That's where I like to finesse at.
Yeah. So I think that's the other thing too, where we might just have to give each other room to do whatever it is that they want to do.
Yeah.
Because the answer is normally, I don't think either of us are wrong. It's just different. Yeah,
that's usually how I argue all the time. It's like, it's not that it's wrong, it's just different than how you think. And it's just kind of like, so, but I don't want to go on too much with that. So here's what came up. So my sister did, she might still purchase the craft fair for us. So I talked to her today about it. And then, like I said, if it gets canceled, she'll get a refund. If not, we can do the craft fair. And then we moved going to Six Flags to Melissa's birthday, which is October.
Donivan, I ain't helping.
It's October. I always forget, which I think is terrible. And here's why. I'm gonna tell you why I forget. I don't know why. I just have no explanation. But I know the 2 days. It's between 2 days. I just don't know. I always forget which day it is. I don't know why.
Say the 2 days.
15th and 16th. I know. It's always like, it's the 15th or the 16th. I mean, I'm gonna take a guess. Don't tell me. It's the 15th. It is, right? I'm gonna check my phone. Damn, I was wrong. Shit. Damn. So it's the even number. I never remember the 16th. It's the 6th. Why do I keep thinking? It's one of the 2 days, 15 and 16. They look so close together. It's the 6th and the 5.
It's the 16th. That's it. Solidifies the 16th.
October 16th. You know what it is? The number just don't roll off the tongue the same way as 15. That's what it is. I'd be thinking, even I'm like 6.
Sorry. Sorry, my birthday just don't roll off your tongue.
It's just, 16.
That doesn't mean you could change it.
Bro, listen, all the time I forget. I be trying.
Real.
Bro, you know what's crazy? You said acting real what?
Real mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise? Bro, you know what's crazy? Like, I'll be thinking about it other times throughout the day, and I'll be like, is it the 15th or the 16th? Like, and when I tell you this happens to me all, like, whether we're talking about it or not, whether me and you're talking about it, I'll just be like, it's the 15th or the 16th. I'm like, I think it's, and I probably always say 15. In my head, I probably it's 15. Then I write and I go check. Fuck it. And I had to write it down. I'm like, okay, it's obviously a 16. Because I keep getting it wrong, and I always keep saying the 15th. It's the 16th.
Yes.
You seem like a 15 though. You seem like a October 15th kind of girl. Okay. But yeah, so we switched it to that weekend. So I guess that could be like Melissa's kind of present. Also, her cycle was coming up. So that kind of helps with that if we did go on the 24th, 25th. So that helps. Because now she could go on all the big roller coasters. So now no excuse. Now you have no excuse. No! But yeah, so I'm going to get back to some more life update because the podcast will be ending soon. We did our first live stream last week. That was very exciting. The whole gang pulled up. My shout out to Tori was there, Maxine, Emmanuel, Sarah. Other people, I don't have their names. I don't know if Vlad was there.
I don't think he was. 8. How you said 818? 8.
Oh, 818 Southside?
Yeah.
I forgot his. I don't know if you have told me his name though. But yeah, he was there. And we, like I said, I know most people's names because they like tell me throughout the thing. But I know people are definitely by their screen name. But that was fun. We drove back from getting the beeswax. Melissa definitely wants. Melissa loves to stream. That's her. She likes that is her secret vice. So we've been trying to figure out what the best thing to do for that would be, and right now we've come up to, and I think somebody else had commented this too, that, let me see who commented it. It was definitely Jay, and pretty sure Jay's a guy, like 95% sure Jay's a guy. Maybe it's not a guy, maybe it is.
Is it not the climate to be?
I think Jay is a girl.
People's gender.
Damn, should I say that? I don't know if I'm like, damn. Jay, are you a guy or a girl? I feel like you're a girl.
It doesn't matter.
I think Jay's a girl. Is Jay a girl? Jay, are you a girl? Are you a woman or a younger woman or something? Bruh, okay. This is gonna be super sexist, right? So this is why I think Jay. This is how I'm gonna look at this comment and say why I think that it's a girl. All right. So boom. If you a guy, Jay, damn, that's crazy. So, the comment has a smiley face in it. Okay. Girls use smiley faces. Guys, it says I don't know anything about candles. Smiley face.
That could be a guy.
But it can't. Why would a guy put a smiley face after that though? He's a younger guy.
I don't know.
Okay, but here's another one. Then it said streaming while making candles. Genius idea! Exclamation point. Do it immediately! Exclamation point.
That might be a girl.
Right? That's what I'm like. It could be a girl. And I feel like Jay was on my ass before about something that you were like, it was pro Melissa. And I'm like, maybe it's because Jay is actually a woman. And I did not know that Jay is. I feel like I said Jay's a guy on the podcast. I didn't ever got corrected. So maybe I don't know. But I feel like Jay's probably a woman. That's my guess. And I think it's funny because I feel like just women are more expressive of how when somebody does something good. I feel like that, and I feel like this person, I feel like they are more like that. Like, oh, you guys did a great job. Like, that's good. Like, I feel like that's more. But like I said, I put my money on a woman. Is that rude if it's not a woman?
Yeah, Jay, he don't mean no harm. He don't mean no harm.
Bruh. And then my contract is calling me again. Bruh, that's not the story. So Melissa is probably gonna be streaming while she's making candles going forward. So that'll be like a nice stream for everybody to pull up. We want to do it on Twitch. Actually, we want to do it on every single platform at the same time, but we don't really know how to do that because the comment section for the stream last week I didn't really like it. Melissa wasn't a fan of it either. And I think the most important thing about streaming is talking to people who are in the chat. Like, oh, what you want to ask a question or whatever, as opposed to having to keep tap it and check and tap and check and tap and check. I think maybe if it was a laptop, maybe that would help. It's different. We haven't figured it out yet. We did it one time and I feel like it was fun. My social battery died, so I can't do it for that long. But Melissa, I mean, not in that setting. I feel like maybe if I was playing a video game or something like that, maybe that would help.
I'd be doing that too.
Yeah, but I'm like, yeah, Melissa, she does all. I got a social battery of a couple hours. Maybe I can get 3 to 4 hours at a time, possibly. And after that, my social battery dies and I need to recharge. I am a singular creature where I need to just isolate. So we're excited for that. Spreadsheet, Turo Spreadsheet. Now, I don't know if one of you guys bought it. I don't know. All right. But I put the spreadsheet up just in all the old Turo videos just to kind of see, because they get so much traffic. I wonder if anybody would purchase one. Bruh, someone bought a Turo spreadsheet. I was like, wow, that's crazy. And I have not, it's the new one I made. I have not put up, like the Turo videos. I have 3 in the vault, but I have a condition, the 70-30 condition. So that's why they haven't gone up yet. So I have 3. All needs a thumbnail and a post-it. That's it. They're all edited, they recorded, finished, done. Honestly, I have 1 thumbnail technically, but I just 70-30. It's a condition. I can't listen. You cannot shame me for my condition. Okay, if you do, you get blocked. YouTube will block you because it is what do they call that? They have mental health shaming. What you say? Bullying. Oh, I've been wanting to say this for a while. One of the things that really got me over the hump for doing the Turo videos. I remember. I think it might have been, I don't know if she said it, if Sarah said it on a comment or she said it like in a group chat, but she was just like, in one of your old videos, you had said that you have more time to do stuff like than you think you do. So you definitely have time to make Turo videos. And I was like, damn. I was like, the logic. I'm like, she used the number. She's like, listen, if you have enough time to do extra stuff, then you have enough time to make the videos. Otherwise, you don't have enough time. But you say you do. So do the videos. So like I said, that definitely was something that helped me go, okay, fine, whatever. Even still, I struggled to get to those 3. Episode playback. All right. The hiring racist people thing. I talked about this last week. In terms of a system being racist, I'm like, I don't know what people are putting in place to prevent racism. Like, that's the problem. I think we don't have anything to we have all these algorithms and things, but we can't come up with an idea of like, hey, is this person racist? If so, how can we prevent them from being racist? Or how can we make sure that we keep them out of this? Listen, they don't hire black people with certain jobs. They don't hire people with hair. They don't hire people with certain views. We should be able to know if somebody's racist or not. And we should not hire them. We got to figure that out. And then I think I want to say that Mr.Beast is hacking the algorithm. And I don't know if that counts as making good content. Like, I can't say for sure that means that he's making good content. And shout out to the Andrew Tate did an interview with Valuetainment. And one of the things he said was that Logan Paul has viewers and not fans. And I think that Mr.Beast falls into that category. I feel like because he's hacking the algorithm, he gets a lot of views and people watch it. But I don't know if he has fans per se. And one of the reasons I say that is because I think in terms of when he opened up his store, he has 100 million subscribers on YouTube, right? And he also has like a whole bunch of other channels. He has channels in different languages. He has a vlogging channel. He has a reaction channel. He has a shorts channel. He has mad channels. And he did the open up of Mr.Beast place, right? And I'm thinking to myself, if somebody like De'Ara and Ken or DK Foil back in the day had, or even Queen and Clarence, somebody like them, if they actually, or maybe even DDG, if they had 100 million subscribers on a channel, plus the other channels, and they decide to open up something, there would be 50, 60, maybe 100,000 people might show up. Like, that's insane to me. And I think Mr. B said maybe like 20, 30,000 maybe might have showed up. Maybe. I can't listen, bruh. I couldn't even if they had that many subscribers and walked down the street, they have fans. People would want to see them and talk to them and like, yo, I remember that time when you did this. I remember when you were doing that. That was crazy. I remember that. People watch Mr. Beast content. It's like, oh, that was a show I watched. Like, I don't know anything about. It's just a show that you did where you stayed in a boat for 25 hours, underwater or something like that. So I think he does have fans for sure, but I think it's definitely more viewers than he has fans. And I think that's because for 2 reasons. I think he's trying to hack it so he gets more subscribers, and I also think that YouTube allows him to grow to just have a lot of subscribers and views. So that's why I think that he will get those things, but the connection between him and the person I don't think is really it's not that strong. That's what I would say. So and then Yeah, so those are my 2-episode playback. Now, Donovan's question. I'm not going to be able to do it today. A new channel I found. Okay, right now my 2 favorite channels are Sarahalaba. Okay, shout out to Sarah. And I'm really rocking with Tanisha Davis. That's one of my new channels I like, right? Her channel is called Fun and Budget with Tanisha Davis. I like authentic content. That's what I like. I like to watch people being regular people. Like I just enjoy it. It's the most honest thing you can get, at least as close to honest as you can get. I feel like everything, obviously you have edits and things like that, but I just like see people be real people. I wanted to ask this question, okay? If a man makes less money, right? Should he pay half the bills? Okay? If a woman makes less money, should she pay half the bills? Okay? And I want to get more deeper into it, but this podcast ran a little bit long, so I think I'll probably say my opinion on it next week. But yeah, I think that women expect men to pay half regardless how much they make. And I think that if a man makes significantly more than a woman, it would be egregious to ask her to pay half. So that's what I've been seeing, but like I said, I'll go deeper into it next week. We will be back here next Tuesday. You can find all the behind the scenes content on our social medias. Mine is Donivan Gray, DONIVANGRAY, and my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend, Anita Byrne, ANETABURN. All right. You know what it is. All right. You know what it is. Hashtag Bamboo Project 2022. Okay, shout out to Musically Challenged. And with that being said, Bamboo Project out.